Hello, I'm Mark Price. I'd like to talk to you today about choices. But first, there was a woman, elderly woman, who was all excited about a ring she was wearing, and she went to a meal with a lot of her girlfriends, and they're all sitting around at the lunch table, and she kept putting her hand out so that the others might see her hand with the ring on it. And all of a sudden, a woman says, "I'll bite. That is a beautiful, beautiful ring." And the woman said, "Oh, yes." She says, "It's a lovely ring." And she said, "That's about the biggest diamond I've ever seen." And she said, "Oh, yes." She said, "It's beautiful." She said, "Where did you get it?" She said, "Well, from my husband, Mr. Goldberg." "And it is a beautiful, beautiful ring," one of the women said. And the older woman said, "Yes, yes, yes, but like the Hope Diamond, it has a curse." And one of the other women said, "Really? What curse?" And she said, "Mr. Goldberg." Mr. Goldberg. So the gospel today is from Luke chapter 6, verses 20 to 26. Raising his eyes toward his disciples, Jesus said, "Blessed are you who are poor, for the kingdom of God is yours. Blessed are you who are now hungry, for you will be satisfied. Blessed are you who are now weeping, for you will laugh. Blessed are you when people hate you and when they exclude and insult you and denounce your name as evil on account of the Son of Man. Rejoice and leap for joy on that day. Behold, your reward will be great in heaven, for their ancestors treated the prophets in the same way. But woe to you who are rich, for you have received your consolation. But woe to you who are now filled, for you will be hungry. Woe to you who laugh now, for you will grieve and weep. Woe to you when all speak well of you, for their ancestors treated the false prophets in this way." The gospel of the Lord. So as I said, the gospel today is it's about choices. It's important to understand that the Beatitudes listed here in the Gospel of Luke are different than the Gospel of Matthew. First of all, there are 4 listed here, Beatitudes. There are 8 listed in Matthew. In Matthew, it is known as the Sermon on the Mount because he delivered them from a hillside to the people. And here in Luke, it's called sometimes the Sermon on the Plains because it was delivered on flat land. In both cases, it was being delivered to disciples, meaning people who were choosing to follow Jesus. And I'm using the word disciple to not exclude the apostles, but to say that this is for a broader audience than just the apostles. When disciples are used, it's also talking about you and me. So it's a message to all the disciples, and that means you and me. What does disciple mean? It means follower, it means student. And to be a disciple of Jesus, that means you're a person who made a choice. If you ever notice, Jesus never went out with an axe or a bludgeon and forced people to follow him. He always asked them, "Will you come and follow me?" And so those in our world today that are people of faith, just as the disciples in the time of Jesus, they're people who made that discernment, that choice. I'm choosing to follow God. I'm choosing to follow Christ. That's why it's always been sort of an anathema to me when people start attacking the teachings of Christ as wrong or bad or too hard to live by, because they don't have to do it unless they choose to. But if you choose to be a follower, if you choose to be a person of faith, then you have to understand what you're choosing to do. Now, another difference between the Beatitudes in Matthew and the Beatitudes in today's Gospel, Luke, in Matthew it says, "Blessed are the poor of spirit, for they shall be comforted." And here it's saying, "Blessed are the poor." So just the poor. Now, a lot of people have taken that to mean that Jesus is saying, "I have a preference for poor people." In other words, rich people, not so much, but poor people, I have a preference for. Or he's building up the poor as being more special. Well, he's not doing that. That is not the message that is here today. He is not creating a reverse caste system. What he is saying instead is we should have a mindset of being people who care about the poor, who think about the poor. The word blessed or blessed, as used in today's gospel, does not mean you are blessed for being poor. The Greek word is makarios, which means congratulations. So he's basically saying, congratulations if you are poor, for the kingdom of God is yours. Congratulations if you are hungry, for you will be satisfied. And let me expand a little bit more. He's saying to them, and I'm going to quote Gandhi here. Gandhi said, live simply so others may simply live. So the message that Jesus is giving us through this Gospel of Luke today is that we should choose to live simply so that others can simply live. He is not saying it's wrong to be rich or to have things or to have plenty of food. He's just saying that we should be people who are willing to share what we have. We should be people who focus more on what we need rather than what we want. So that is the real message here. Are we people who have chosen to follow Jesus? Have we made the choice to be a disciple? We've made the choice to be a person of faith. Do we understand that by making that choice, we're also saying, based on today's gospel, that I'm choosing what I need over what I want. I'm choosing to live simply so that others may simply live. And that's really what it's all about. There are many times where we're confronted with things. I know that at one point in my life, because of a variety of circumstances beyond my control, bad health being one of them, I ended up giving away all that I had, pretty much 99% of what I had. I'm talking about clothes, furniture, rugs, artwork, everything. And I remember at first it felt very, very odd because these are things that I had accumulated over 30, 40, 50 years of my life. And all of a sudden now I'm giving them away, just giving it away. And after I was doing that for a while, a weird sort of feeling came over me. It was like a purging effect, a catharsis, where I felt just totally like a weight was lifted. And I did not feel burdened by all these things, never realizing before that they were a burden. And I remember going to a family meal, maybe the next holiday after I gave the stuff away, and I'm at one of my relatives' houses, and we're having dinner, and we're sitting at my dining table on my dining chairs, which are sitting on one of my rugs, and the walls are covered with my artwork. And it was an odd feeling. But I said to myself, better they get to clean it, better they get to look after it, polish it, better they get to worry about where it goes, where they have to move houses or whatever it is. So the point is that we don't need all that we have. There's nothing wrong with having it. But we, as people who choose to be disciples, who choose to follow Christ, should be people who also choose to live, wherever possible, live simply so that others may simply live. And it's important that we really focus, and I've said this many times in reflections, true happiness comes from wanting what you have, not having what you want. If we're constantly focusing on the new bauble, the new car, the new house, the new this, the new that, then we're not really enjoying what we have, and we certainly aren't taking the time to share what we have with other people. So the gospel today is to remind us that being a disciple is a choice. And when we choose to be a disciple, a follower of God through Christ, when we choose to be a person of faith, we should also choose to be people who live in our own lives simply and share any excess that we have with people who are in need. So it's not a blessing to be poor. It is a blessing to give or share what we have if we have more than we need. This is the message. And when we do this, Jesus says to us, congratulations. Congratulations, for the kingdom of God is yours. Congratulations, for you will be satisfied. Congratulations, for you will laugh. This is what he is saying to us. So let us in our life choose the route of disciple, choose to be people of faith, and make the choice to live simply so that others may simply live. By the way, for those that still want the baubles, remember, like the opening story, there may be a curse. This is Mark Price. Thanks for listening.